We are recording.
It's happening.
Hi.
All right, cool. So welcome, everybody. I am Dr. Joe. This is
Dr. Eva.
And we are so stoked to have Elizabeth with us today. Really what we're on a mission to do is to help mamas realize that there are resources out there for them with all things related to birth. Specifically, we're going to be talking about like postpartum today. And, Elizabeth and we have talked about this. Postpartum really is like, sometimes people think it's just like the few weeks or months after you give birth, but it's really the rest of your life after you've given birth. So, we're super honored to have Elizabeth with us and just so excited for you to share some info about how these mamas can get the help that they really need and that they don't really know that they have access to, and that it's right here in our backyard in Chula Vista. So take it away.
Yeah, so we were excited to find a local resource for those of you that are in Chula Vista. So we'd love to just start by asking Elizabeth to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about why you do what you do, what really motivates you, and a little bit about your journey getting into the postpartum fitness world.
Yeah, so hi, my name is Elizabeth, and I am a certified personal trainer through NASM, and I have a specialty in corrective exercise for pre and postnatal fitness. So I kind of stumbled into fitness on my own fitness journey. I was on a mission to lose weight and become healthier. So through group fitness, I kind of found an amazing outlet that I loved and decided to take a leap of faith and go into personal training so I could help other people, because I found there was a lot of not very knowledgeable trainers, and I felt like I could do better, and I felt like I wanted more, and I felt like I could really address a lot of issues that women have specifically when they're trying to get fit, because it's not the same like for women, especially if you've had a baby. It's just not the same. So I felt like there was really an area missing. And speaking to how you said that you're always postpartum after baby, a lot of the focus is postnatal care on the baby, not so much postnatal care for the mama. So I kind of saw this gap in education, especially with trainers, of just like kind of not knowing how to guide that culture of postpartum women through their fitness journey. So I just feel super passionate about being able to help educate women on that area, because it is a big scary thing. Like, even if you're a first-time mom, it's a big scary thing being a first-time mom. Now try adding taking care of your health on top of that, and not really having great resources on knowing where to start and what to do, what not to do, and where to go. So that's kind of what started my whole passion, was kind of my own journey. Yeah.
Awesome. I feel like that's so common that sometimes, more often than not, the professionals that are just really tuned in and on purpose are people that have discovered it through their own experience in their own bodies. Like, it just gives you a whole other level of awareness and ability to connect with moms, which I think is beautiful and awesome. Yeah. And speaking to what you said about, there's so many unknowns around pregnancy, around postpartum. And I love what you said about, usually we talk about like postnatal care for baby, and we're not talking about for mom. I want to just open up by talking about where to start, because I bet with a lot of moms, like, you don't know what you don't know. What are some common questions, concerns that moms will come to you with initially if they just don't even know what questions to even be asking?
Right. So it does vary, because like everybody and every body is different. So I always really say you need to be in tune with yourself and have just a mindfulness of like what your body is feeling and how you're feeling, like just being able to check in with yourself. And also, I always start by saying, like, you need to have good communication with your doctor and make sure that your doctor is checking you off to, start working out, start exercising, because whether you've had a vaginal birth or a C-section birth, those rehabs are totally different. And those timeframes are totally different in terms of getting back into the gym, getting back into plyometric exercises, getting back into core exercises. Those two paths can look totally different. And, every birth is different. So we all have a different birth story. Some births are really traumatic, and women just need a space where they can kind of process what happened. Their bodies need time to process what happened. So I just kind of say, rule of thumb, within the first couple weeks, you can definitely start walking, start moving your body. But more than anything, it's in the first few months, it's a mindfulness practice that you need to build. You need to be mindful about your posture. You need to be mindful about your movement patterns, mindful about how you're carrying your baby, how you're nursing your baby, how you're pushing the stroller. So I think the main thing is just checking in with yourself And also one of the biggest things that I always hear is the biggest question or just like statement is just like, I want my pre-baby body back. And I just like kind of have to reality check people of just like, pause. For 9 months, you've been making a human inside of you, and now that human is outside of you. So your body has gone through a lot. Like, there is no reason that you can't be so strong and so confident in your body, but you need to accept the fact that it may not feel exactly the same or it may not look exactly the same. And I think just having that understanding as a baseline is where all women kind of need to start. Yeah.
It's so true that it's really an individual path. So I love that you're talking about really trusting that intuition, because it's something that serves women throughout the birth experience, and it's a wisdom that doesn't then just leave us after the birth of the baby. Like, we're each on our own path. We've each had a different experience with birth, and we're each going to have different needs in terms of what our body's ready for.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, it might be something completely different than what you're used to, because your body has been through something incredible and amazing, and you're not in the same body. So I imagine that brings you to a lot more personalized type of care, probably maybe, than a lot of other trainers, because you're having to help women navigate the great variety of different birth experiences and different goals and needs postpartum.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just speaking back to like how everybody's body is different, like there's different things that can happen to your body after birth. And again, me just being a resource or a sounding board for women to talk about what their experiences are or were and issues that they're dealing with is a really also great place for them to start like asking their bodies and just being able to talk openly about issues that they're dealing with, because that says a lot about where your fitness journey needs to start, because there's a myriad of issues that can come up from being pregnant. So just knowing, like accepting that those things are different and that you might need to dial things back is a really good place to just kind of start.
What are
Right.
some of the most common issues that you deal with, the most common conditions that come up, and how do you help women navigate those?
One of the most common things is the diastasis recti. So it's those abdominals muscles that sit on top, or like your six-pack abs that sit on top. A lot, and that's just like pressure management. So when you're pregnant, the baby is growing, and it's not always easy for women to create that space in the back. So a lot of the pressure comes out to the front. So that fascia between those muscles kind of get separated, and I see a lot of hernias or that diastasis. So just that separation between the muscles where it's kind of squishy and mushy underneath. That's one of the biggest things. So that's just a lot of core pressure management issues. So people coming to me is usually what I see is the diastasis and just needing to reevaluate their baseline of how are you managing your core pressure. And that is also so related to how are you moving through the day and what are those movement patterns look like even down to like how are you washing your hair. Like that can really upset those abdominals and put a lot of pressure outward instead of opening up your back to allow space in the back to move too. So that's probably the most common thing that I see. And then there's a lot of leaking. And again, that goes back to core pressure management issues of, are you connected to your pelvic floor? Do you know what it feels like when you're bearing down on your pelvic floor? Do you know when to exhale, like as you're picking up your baby? Just that awareness of like what's happening inside is a lot of what I see is just women just, they just kind of grunt through things and are like, we just push through and just, you got to get it done. But you don't really take time to evaluate, like, what is my body really feeling like while I'm doing those things? So pausing, evaluating, being like, do you feel this? And then being kind of like light bulb of like, wow, I do. I didn't realize that I do that. So I see it's mostly just core pressure management issues that I see.
Wow, that's huge, and such an underspoken about, talked about thing that really affects so many people. And there's all these layers of shame and guilt around it and stuff too. But it's really, this is like, this is why I'm so glad that we're talking right now. And I thought you guys said something really interesting. We're talking about embracing the fact that after birth, your body is different, but that doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's worse. And it could even be better, but it's usually connected to the actions that you took pre-pregnancy, during your pregnancy, after your pregnancy, and beyond. And I'm going to assume, like it is for people that we work with in our office, the more they utilize your resources, the better off they are for future births too, because that's something too. We want to recover from this birth, yes, but many women, have want to keep that option open in the future, and how you recover from one and then prep for the next one, whether it's, in a year or 5 or 10 years, really is so important for the outcomes and your quality of life, and having your body be potentially better than it ever was. So I think that's just so cool that you're a resource at all stages, really, postpartum, which means that it could even be pre, or during. So, to kind of help wrap this all up for us and tie a nice bow on it, for mamas that are checking us out right now, whether they're, they're pregnant right now, or they're thinking about having a baby, or they're in that process of postpartum recovery, what's something that you want them to know and to hear and to be able to take action on?
I think, kind of speaking to what you were just talking about too, is that it's like never too early or too late to start taking care of your body and start building that foundation. Like, something that I'm constantly reiterating to my clients is like, you have to have a solid foundation. Like, you can't build a house on a broken foundation. So you need to assess like your posture. You need to assess how you're standing. Those are things I look at. I look at your feet. I look at your knees. I look at your rib cage. Is it flaring? Is it like wide open? So it's never too early or it's never too late to start. So even as you're pregnant, if you're considering, just that mindful practice of posture or core control, like that'll absolutely help your recovery. It'll help your delivery. It'll help your postpartum, whatever. Like, it's making you more sustainable for whatever you're about to endure. So it's never too late or too early to start building that practice of having a super strong foundation.
So you'll work with women, like, will women come to you even before conception and say, look, I want to get pregnant within the next year. Can you work with me on goals? And then you can sort of take them all the way through?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've worked with women too who have come to me 4 months pregnant and say, I just feel weak, or I have back pain that I've never had before. And I'm like, let's strengthen those glutes, like, easy, done. Like, and sometimes, like, I think it gets really overwhelming to women because it's like, again, you're pregnant and you're like, you have this big life thing that's about to happen. So you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I can address this issue right now. I just need to, be prepared for the future. But sometimes the simplest things, like, are the solution. So it's like, it doesn't have to be a daunting excuse or a daunting like routine to fix something that's going on or that doesn't feel right. So don't be intimidated to address even the littlest thing, because it could really help you down the line.
I love that. That is so cool. So cool. So, how does a mama that is interested in, your services and your support, how do they find you? How do they get a hold of you?
The best place to reach me is on Instagram. It's, well, you guys have probably posted, but it's eliz.a. Wait, what is it? I don't even know.
It's a beast.
eliz.a.beast, beast. You can reach me on there, or and I have my phone number on there. Like, I'm such a texter, so I have people text me all the time. But yeah, Instagram, I'm on there. I like to post a lot of videos that are just like simple explanations for people or how-tos for people. You can reach me on social media. So that's probably the best way.
We love watching your videos and checking out your content. You've got lots of little snippets of really good gems. So we absolutely love that. And we're honored that we are able to, cross promote and help to bring this information to more women on our social media. And we hope to do more of these in the future, because I know that you've got such a wide range of different areas of expertise that we could continue to offer content in this way and resources for moms.
Yes, absolutely. And super passionate about it. So anything I can do to help the community and just get the word out there that, there's a resources here. I'm in Bonita. I work from my home gym garage. So it's a super safe environment. Lots of women are comfortable and are able to bring their kiddos here. So it doesn't have to be, again, this big daunting thing. It's accessible and it's easy. It's not scary.
And they can bring their kids, right? And you could probably even help them work on how to pick up the baby carrier. And
oh yeah, no, we've done that. I've had moms be like, okay, you're gonna learn how to deadlift, and you're gonna learn how to deadlift by picking your kid up. So grab the baby, show me how you hinge. Because it's real life. I mean, that's how it works. Like, you're not in a gym picking up weight all the time. You're in the house picking up laundry baskets or kids or dogs or whatever. So do it right.
That's as functional as it gets. Talk about training.
Just once, I want to see at a gym with a bunch of macho dudes bring in a baby carrier with like a pretend baby, you know, a sandbag or something, be like, all right, let's see you walk around and then balance the, you know, this and the that, and just see how they all go. Oh,
And the sandbag's wiggling. It'll be.
yeah, the sandbag wiggles, and it's very precious. You know?
Yeah, functional fitness.
All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will definitely connect more in the future and have more resources for mamas in the South Bay. So thank you so much, Elizabeth.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.